Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the District 2 Town Hall meeting. As we get started, I want to acknowledge our mayor, Mayor Jensen. Okay, so my focus for the last year, if I were to sum it up, I would say would be 3 areas: economic development, safety, and community service. So I have a PowerPoint here just with a few images that capture these areas. Okay, starting with economic development. Okay, so you may know, if you're here at the last town hall, that I'm on the Grand Prairie Economic Development Committee. I'm also on the Federal Advisory Board for the Economic Development Committee through the National League of Cities. So that's a passion area of mine, and it's important, economic development, because it brings more amenities to our city. It brings more tax revenue to our city, such that we can offer more great programming for you all. In line with economic development, I'm also very passionate about small businesses. It's important to get big corporations like we have Bass Pro now to come to our city, very important, but it's also important that we lift up the small business owners. So we haven't forgotten about them, and there are a lot of programs going on for them. I was invited to speak at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. There's a photo there from that as one of their featured speakers, where I shared about the offerings for small business owners, the different educational resources, and also funding for kind of rehabilitating your building if you qualify. All of that was shared there. So if anyone's a part of that chamber, thank you for having me. That was an exciting opportunity. Also, along the course of economic development, I went to the National League of Cities Conference in Washington, D.C. with other members of council, and we split into teams and met with different federal representatives. And I had the opportunity to meet with Congressman Vesey, where I requested appropriations for different infrastructure projects in our city. So we are waiting to hear back regarding how much money we can get from that. But we know as we continue on with economic development, we need the infrastructure to go along with it. So we are actively working on that. One of my personal projects that I'm doing on the Grand Prairie Economic Development Committee is reassessing, if you will, our smoke shop ordinances. Right now, you may have noticed there are a lot of smoke shops popping up. It's starting to get a little excessive. So we are reviewing that ordinance. We've had about 2 meetings so far on our Economic Development Committee, where we are addressing what we can do to change that within the law. And on our 3rd meeting, we should be able to finalize the proposed language that will allow the city, if passed, more control over the smoke shops coming into our city. So that will be at the next council meeting. If you guys want to, well, actually, no, we'll be reviewing that at the next committee meeting, excuse me, and then it will go on to council. So that probably won't be until July, but that's an important issue. I've received citizen emails about that, and it's important to me as well. And it's not about, not valuing them, but to a certain extent, it's only so many smoke shops you can have before it starts to bring down what's around it. When we want to attract other businesses and there are vacancies, not everybody wants to be set up next to a smoke shop. That's not necessarily an elevated type of business. So in the spirit of attracting the type of things we want, I think controlling the smoke shops is going to be very helpful. Okay. Safety. So I had an opportunity to work with our transportation director, Walter. He's in, oh, there you are, on a stop sign off of I-20 in Deckman. There have been multiple accidents on that exit. I was going to a city hall meeting and had to go around an accident right on that intersection. Basically, now that there are apartments on that corner, you may have seen them. There's basically a street that cuts through with no stop sign, and there's no visibility to the people on West Chase and Deckman to see if there are oncoming cars. So they did a needs study, Walter and his team, and they found that a stop sign was warranted and the stop sign is up. So that's really great because there have been multiple fender benders right there. It's literally right behind my house. So I had the displeasure of seeing quite a few of them. Also in the realm of safety, I had a neighborhood meeting with the Holly Hill community. They had some safety concerns regarding people coming through their neighborhood, and they had graffiti issues, theft issues, different things like that, and they requested to have a community meeting. So mayor was there, Chief Sesney was there, myself, and several of their neighborhood neighbors, and they got all their questions out. They were able to even say if they were having code enforcement issues with their neighbors. They got everything out, and we were able to get it addressed, which is very important. Lastly, on safety, interestingly, in the past year, I have had multiple animal-related emails, ranging from vicious dogs roaming all the way to reports of inhumane treatments of dogs. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, people who are living with neighbors with like 15, 20 dogs. So our animal services director, Lily, was able to help me with that. We even had some rooster cases. So we are keeping, that wasn't a safety issue, but it was an animal issue. But we're really working on all fronts to keep you all safe. Moving along to community service. It's important to me to serve the community even outside of City Hall whenever possible. And I've been taking on more volunteer roles. All the council members, including our mayor, participate in the big event. We did have a team council member Headen, and we cleaned up over on Great Southwest and I-20 over there by the Kroger and the Walmart along the frontage road, collected several bags of trash. And it's just a nice unifying opportunity. We all met up over in this area beforehand. It was a lot of fun. But outside of that, I do weekly volunteering with an organization, Expanded Horizons, which is an elementary tutoring service, which is founded by actually a District 2 resident. And we go into low-income housing and do one-on-one tutoring services in their apartment community centers. So we're taking those resources to them, and I've really been enjoying doing that so far. An invitation. I'd like to invite you all on May 18th to join me for one of my current community service initiatives, Read to Run. It is a program for 3rd and 4th graders in the GPIC school district. If they read 10 nonfiction books in 3 months, they get a free pair of sneakers, which are provided by the Nicholas Foundation. We partner with them in our school district, and they get to pick them up at the May 18th 5K/fun run. So we are encouraging you all to register. You can still register. You don't have to run. You can walk, or you can just cheer on the little kids in their fun run, which is really just a lap around that lake where the water show is, if you've seen Alluvia. So that's May 18th, and I'm working on that with Councilwoman Adams and Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Clemson. So we're very excited. This is the inaugural year, and the more participants we get, that will help us to fund the next year, which we will continue to provide the free sneakers for kids who read 10 books in 3 months. So we want to keep it going. So join us for that. Other noteworthy mentions: advocating on our water rates. I'm not sure how many of you all watched the city council meeting this week on Tuesday, but water rates were a big topic. We me personally received about 100 emails from citizens living in apartments who had their water rate almost triple. So they were paying more than a single family house homeowner. So, you know, that's not ideal. So we have responded to that. I had the opportunity to meet with staff. I met with Bill and Cheryl here recently to address what can be done. And our staff briefing, which citizens were available to come to or allowed to come to, we went over what the new language would look like to possibly change that ordinance and to change those rates. And that will be voted on at the next meeting. And I am in support of reducing it. I made that clear at the city council meeting on Tuesday. So we're going to do what we can to listen to the voices of those in apartments, because they are just as much a part of our community as those who live in houses. Also, on a day-to-day, I'm responding to a lot of just all kind of different constituent needs. Branch removal, reporting of neighbors having automotive businesses in their neighborhood. I've actually gotten multiple reports of that. Street cleaning request, some related to the egrets, those birds that leave those terrible droppings. Also, several reports of semi-trucks over there in the Coles lot. So on a day-to-day, I am responding to your emails. We're sending staff out to address those various issues. I'm at my post, as they say. So please, if you have a concern, a question, or an idea, we want ideas too. Please don't hesitate to reach out. A continuation from the last town hall meeting, I'm continuing to dissuade apartment developers whenever possible. Sometimes they will reach out and inquire how we feel about it when it's not zoned for it, because it does cost them to go through the process with the city. And at that time, we can let them know we're not interested in this. And often, once you tell them that, they won't even apply, which is great. Now, sometimes it's already zoned for apartments, in which case, by law, we can't do anything to stop them from coming, but we can do something as far as negotiating more favorable apartment setups. So me personally, some of the topics I will negotiate when those things come around is requesting that they lower their number of units. Maybe by law, they can have 300. Maybe I can request that they go down to 220 units, for example. And a lot of apartments will have more than one resident. So, cutting down by that many units, that really does make a difference on your traffic, whatever that corner is that's getting that apartment. Also, they have to present site plans and things like that where we get to see in advance, what does it look like? Sometimes it doesn't look great. So we can request that they do things to enhance their building materials, because we don't want things that look cheap, that look run down, in our neighborhood. And I've had favorable outcomes with that. Now, one thing I do want to share, it's not great news, but I feel you all should be made aware. There are apartments coming, more apartments on I-20 in Deckman behind the existing apartments there. So if you're over there by Tom Thumb, behind there are more apartments coming. But their original design was really ugly. Mayor, you saw the design. The design was not great. And as people get off the highway and enter Westchester, that would have been one of the first things they saw. So we were able to have them to change in my talks with them to a white stone. I also requested that they do enhanced landscaping. Our laws do require certain landscaping type requirements. So if they do the bare minimum, that's fine. But after I got done negotiating with them, they really beefed it up at their own expense. So when you drive down the frontage road on Deckman, it's going to look really lovely, because that's the least they can do building these apartments there. So they have not started construction yet. It's not great news. I live right there. Wish they weren't coming, but they are. But at least it won't be a total eyesore. I'm also working to continue to block event venues right next to residences. We have gotten those applications, and we realize the noise and the late hours of operation are not ideal. So we are denying those when we find that they're backing on to homes. I'm also excited to announce a new housing development in our district. A lot of that has been in District 6, and that's great for District 6, but we want some new housing developments as well. D.R. Horton is signed up and has started moving dirt on Forum. If you live on Forum, it's between Saguaro and Sedona Drive. Over there, it looks just like open field space right now. A new housing development will go there. I met with their team. They were trying to do all houses between 18,000 to 2,400 square feet. I negotiated with them to increase the minimum square footage to 2,000 and extend to 3,500 square feet. Because one of the issues we're having, sometimes when people are moving from that starter home to the second and third home, sometimes they're leaving Grand Prairie. So we want to make sure that we're offering them not just older homes that are larger, but also some of these new developments. So they did agree to my request to go up to 3,500 square feet. And they also had a horrible design, look very 1980s for all of the homes. And I work with their architecture team to get those modernized. They're very contemporary now. So they're moving dirt. Rashad, maybe you will have another update. I don't know. But the last I heard, dirt is moving. Dirt is moving. Okay. Okay. So in sum, I'm here to serve. I am answering emails. I'm speaking at community meetings. So if you'd like me to come to a community meeting, please feel free to reach out. I mentioned I had the meeting with the Holly Hill community. I also met with the Forum Estates PID, where we focused on more economic development concerns and questions they have, but I'm always open if you have a community event to come speak. With that, I'd like to have our staff come up and they're going to share in a bit more detail some of the projects they're working on that you will be very interested in.
Okay, I think I'm first. My name is Daniel Sezzi. I'm your police chief. I wanted to cover a couple things. As Councilwoman Headen mentioned, safety is one of her priorities. So I want to cover a number of items that I think are directly related to her goal, but also your priority, which I'm sure is staying safe. So I'm proud to announce that 2023 was a fantastic year for the Grand Prairie Police Department in terms of driving down crime. We are the 4th safest major city in the state of Texas. I'm proud of that. Thank you. Why I think that's very important is because, as you can imagine, being a 2-time first-rank suburb with Dallas on one border and then Fort Worth sort of northwest and Arlington, we have our share of challenges, and it's because of the way in which we fight crime in this city is very, very unique. So we take a very evidence-based approach by examining the data and then pushing resources into those areas before crime occurs. And as a consequence, it has really taken crime down on a significant downward trajectory. It's just since last year alone, we're down 11%. So I'm really proud of that. One of the things I wanted to hit on is a new initiative that one of our assistant chiefs is championing called Focus. I think once you get to a level where crime is really low, crime isn't the only priority. We also have to consider quality of life issues. So what our Focus initiative does is, and I hope I don't sound too nerdy here, and I'm not going to issue out pocket protectors, but just bear with me for a minute. We've taken a map of the entire city and we've divided it up into 1/16 of a mile hexagons. The reason that we have done that is because the hexagons will eliminate statistical bias. Okay. Then we overlay that with our crime maps and our quality of life issues. And we have our, what we call our early warning system. This is continually working in the background to map for us quality of life issues. If one of these hexagons pops 4 or more incidences within a 1-year period, that sets off an alarm in our shop where everyone in the building is made aware of that hexagon. And then their job under his Chief Saliva's direction is to bring all the resources they have to bear to that particular hexagon. So for instance, maybe your issue might be loud noise that's coming from a neighboring business. Maybe they are out too late, or whatever. The crime prevention team, their job is to get over there and meet with the business owner, making sure they're understanding the code, the law, hit it from that angle. The police officers that are working the street, their job is make sure they're in the parking lot, they're enforcing any violations of the law. Our crisis support team is going out there. They're dealing with any other particular incidents. The point is, everybody on the team is tackling these quality of life issues with the goal of taking us from 4 to number 1. I hope I didn't just jinx us, but that's the goal. So we'll see how that goes. Last but not least, one of the things that Councilwoman Headen asked me to cover is our COPE program. In the back here, you're going to see a brochure that looks like this. I'm going to ask you to pick up this brochure and take it with you, particularly if you have someone in your family that has a mental disability or have those types of challenges. One of the most dangerous encounters that police have are with people suffering from a mental disability that don't understand the consequences of their actions. So sometimes those encounters with police can be very, very dangerous. We're trying to get further upstream and get resources to individuals far before the police have to get involved. But let me get more specific on COPE. So if you sign up a loved one for COPE, what you're doing is you're sharing with our team who they are, where they live, what kind of vehicle they drive. So say, for instance, another citizen calls because they see a vehicle that's acting erratically or the driver's acting odd in a park or what have you, and they give us the license plate. Well, now the officer knows before they even get there that that's John Smith. They are suffering from paranoid schizophrenia. Loud noise and lights are triggers for them. An individual that can assist us with this is his mom, Jane Doe. And so we can start putting those puzzle pieces in play far before you even get there to avoid these dangerous encounters. The other thing that's really special about this program is even for our individuals that are not involved in COPE, if we have these encounters, we have licensed therapists that are on our team that go out with our officers, and we'll make house visits to individuals that the officers had to deal with on a previous date to make sure that A, we can get them signed up for COPE, but B, there's nothing that's preventing them from getting healthy. Sometimes it's a dollars and cents problem. So we can put them together with the Grand Prairie Police and Clergy Coalition, 100+ churches, to help maybe with some medicine cost or whatever the obstacle is, we try to help remove it. And then the third piece of the COPE program is an internal piece, which is making sure our officers are trained to deal with these situations. They get 2.5 times the state mandate because we understand how important it is to keep our citizens safe. So with that, I will turn it over to Lily. I think she's going to do a presentation on animal services. My assistant director, Ryan Simpson, was supposed to be here tonight as indicated on the agenda. And I'm sure I'm breaking some HIPAA violation here, but he's got a really bad tooth and he's got a golf ball and he's too embarrassed to be in front of you guys with a golf ball on his face. So I'm going to embarrass him on live TV here and tell on him. I thought that was a decent joke, Lily, but I got no laugh at all. Okay, Lily, here you go.
Hello. So yes, I am Lily Yap. I am your animal services manager. I'll keep this short and sweet. Want to be respectful of your time. Want to start with a big change prompted in large part by your city councilwoman. So a big challenge that we were having was wait times on the phone when people were reporting animal related issues in the field. And just to give some context on this, we really at the shelter intend to be a resource for the community and have been pretty effective in creating that atmosphere. But what that means is people will call us with non-field related issues. So calling about their adopted pet, about what flea prevention we recommend, what behavior modifications we would recommend. And that means that our field requests were routed to the same one individual that was dispatching those calls as all these other resource related calls. And that resulted in extended wait times. So a big change that was prompted recently was shifting our dispatch functionality to our sister department, communications, in under the police department. So that has made a huge difference. The position is now a public safety communications specialist, and all of our field related calls are routed there for the expedited response. So that has been a really great change that we've undergone recently. Also wanted to provide some overview of what we're experiencing at the shelter. Last fiscal year, we served 7,500 animals plus. So just as a shameless plug, I'll let you know there are lots of ways to come out and support the shelter, whether you're ready to welcome a new family member or not. Of course, we have adoptions, but there are also options for fostering, for volunteering, for donating, and simply just spreading the word. We've got a couple big events coming up this fall. In August, we have our big Clear the Shelter event where all adoption fees are completely waived. And then in September, we'll have a very family-friendly birthday bash coming up. And we're in your district right around the corner. So keep an eye out for those details. But other than that, I will be here for questions afterwards. Thank you. Yes. So it's the same number as it's always been. It's just routed to the different department now. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm not quite sure who's next. So Parks. Okay, perfect. I will hand it over. Of course.
Good evening, Ray Serta, Parks, Arts and Recreation Director. Today I'll be talking to you about some of our programs that we're going to be doing and also some about the Parks Open Master Plan that we're going to be having. So with that, we're going to go get started. Our Parks Open Space Master Plan is a working document that is developed with important community input and has two primary purposes. One is to guide city staff the development and redevelopment of parks and resources into the future. And two, it also serves as the primary framework for prioritizing future development projects and programming based on funding opportunities and condition. This is a citywide plan. It's an 18-month study. It's we're going to be having several open houses formatted for community input meetings. And we'll be doing survey opportunities. Our park master plan is basically done every 10 years. The last time it was done is in 2016. And so we're really towards our end of our 10-year cycle. The Park Master Plan, some of the major accomplishments that we did in the last master plan was our Playground Adventure, Epic Central, Epic Rec Center, which is right across the street here, the Epic Waters, Mi Familia, Turner Park, and Tyree were all had renovations. We also did the Splash Factory renovations, and we also renovated the Charlie Taylor, Dalworth, Lone Star, and Fish Creek trail extension. Some of those we did all renovations for that. So when you see in your district or in your community, and we're asking for community input, please come out because we want to hear what you would like to see in your community because these are done every 10 years. And this is what guides us to what we're going to be able to provide in the next 10 years. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is our NFC fitness studios. We're going to be doing 6 this year and 3 next year. We're actually going to be having one here in the Epic on the west side of our facility here. And it's the National Fitness Campaign. It's a half-court size outdoor court. It's to provide full body workout, including the core, lunge, bend, agility, squat, pull, and push activities. The studio is also going to be based for classes, outdoor programming, such as dance, yoga, Zumba, and Pilates classes. This year, we also incorporated some art into this for art opportunities for our community artists. The picture that's below you, down on the very bottom on the left-hand corner, That's actually a drawing that will be exhibited onto the NFC Studio Fitness courts. We actually went out into the community. We asked for Grand Prairie residents who are artists to put in their artist work, and this was one of the ones that was selected. So this will actually be on the fitness court. In addition to that, the winner received a $5,000 scholarship for their artwork. And like I mentioned, it's going to be displayed on the fitness wall. So we appreciate all the artists that had the opportunity to do that. Some of the locations are at Prairie, Epic, Me Familia, Charlie Taylor, Freedom Park, and Fish Creek that will be done this year. Also, Councilman Headen wanted me to talk a little bit about the Epic memberships. We have 3 memberships that are the youth, adult, and family. They're mentioned up above our screen. You can pay annually for the youth for 18 and under, or for the annually, or you can actually do monthly. It's $19 per residence if you want to come into the Epic membership. For the adults, it's $29 for residents, $49 monthly, or you can pay annually for $499. And it's for ages 19 and up. Family up to 5 with head of household. As you can see the rates on those, and it's $69 monthly or $49 residents. Well, also in addition to that, we have our CrossFit 2960 add-on with our pickleball passes. This is a location where anybody can come in and play pickleball. For annual membership is $50, or you can pay for $5. And then we also have the Epic and Epic Waters annual combo passes, as you can see there on the bottom. What does it include at the membership? It includes access to our fitness floors, our group fitness, which is our CrossFit, you can utilize our open play sports courts. We also have indoor track, aquatics, game room, and of course, for those that have teenagers, this has access into our zone 1317, which is considered our teen room. Our hours of operations are Monday through Thursday from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., Friday 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m., and then Saturday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then Sunday 1 to 5. The next slide, Claudia. We also have our summer camp and our teen day camps. It's a 10-week program. These are offered at Charlie Taylor, Dalworth, at the Epic, and Tony Shotwell Life Center. We offer free lunch and snacks that are provided by the Grand Prairie Independent School District and the USDA. We also offer limited financial aid for those that cannot afford that. And that's through a grant through the CDBG, which is our Community Development Block Grant. And our camp dates, we had registration August 1st, and we start up June 3rd, and they're going to go through August 9th. And when we had registration, it's been going on for about a month now. I'm glad to announce that we're completely full right now. In addition, this spring we had a summer hiring fair. One good story about this: we did this on March 7th and 9th. Last year we started, and this year we went ahead and did it in March. And I'm proud to announce that all our camp supervisors, lifeguards, head lifeguards, and pool lifeguards are all filled this year, that's very exciting to us. It's good news because this time last year we were having a hard time to fill all these positions. We had a hiring fair on March 7th and 9th. We had 96 applicants, and 96 applicants attended the health fair, and we had 59 applicants that were hired on the spot. So we want to thank all the Grand Prairie teenagers that came out and got their jobs filled for the summer. So I'll be here. I think that's the very end. I'll be here at the very end to take any comments or questions you may have. So coming out tonight.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, folks. Hi, my name is Zane King, and I am the creative producer for Epic Central. My job is to make sure that whenever you come on this property, you have a grand time, you have an epic time, and that whenever you bring your friends and family, they leave and they say, wow, Grand Prairie's got something. So just in just a few hours, this site completely changes. And whenever you see this place at night, it really is special. And that's kind of what I just wanted to share with you. Hopefully, all of you here in District 2 have been to Epic Central multiple times. You've come and you've eaten. Maybe you've come to a festival. Maybe you've come to an event. But really, one of the things that I commend the mayor and council member Headen and the city staff, our city managers and all, is I hear the message every day. This is for everybody. It's for families. We want it to be safe. We want it to be something that is for everyone. And so we take that very seriously at Epic Central. And so Epic Central is for everyone. And you never know what you're going to see. This is one of my favorite pictures of this site, because this little girl right here, she's in her little car driving around, and her mom and dad are kind of leading her. But this is the type of experience that we want at Epic Central. We want something grand. We want something that is epic, but we also want something that the families say, wow, this is something that I want to bring my kids to. It's a whole lot of fun. The most popular piece of equipment, the most popular thing in all of Epic Central is right over there by Serious Seats, and it is this playground. Kudos to the site planners that did this, because this is become a huge entertainment piece for the kids. Mom and dad can sit over at Vidora. They'll eventually be able to sit right next to Sirius, be able to watch their kids, have a drink, get something to eat, even be able to watch the show, maybe even catch a concert or something. The site is continuing to expand. We have new places that are opening, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But my hope is that everyone here has been here at night. But if you have not been here at Epic Central at night at 8:30, right after this is done, walk out and go see it. You owe it to yourself. The fountain, Alluvia. I hope everyone's seen Alluvia. If you haven't, I hope you've seen it on TikTok. And so we're beginning to do lots of things, as now the show's been in operation for almost a year. We're getting ready to launch new shows in the summer. But one of the fun things that we do, we designed a little break show during the day for the kids to play with, because it kind of comes towards them and then you can see it kind of sprays them and they run away. So we've designed all kinds of fun little pieces. You'll see the augmented reality portal, or we call him Augie for short, the digital billboard that's out there by Vidora. This is another tool. This is another fun thing to get the message across, but it's all there to drive economic activity. That's really what the goal of Epic Central is that we are trying to provide our citizens and our guests an awesome epic time, but also that it has an economic impact on the city and that we get that return. So it's not just putting in a fountain for fountain's sake. It's putting in the fountain that gives you a 4-week waiting list to get onto the balcony at Finch, or gives you a 4.5-hour wait to get into the patio at Vidora. I hate that those waits are that long, but there's no other place in Grand Prairie that's like that. It's because people are excited for it. They're hungry for it, and it's been very successful. The great thing about Epic Central is, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a significant other, if you have somebody that you want to be your significant other, Epic Central is a very romantic place. It's a great place for date night, but parents, don't worry, because we also got you covered. It's good for the kids too. So, once again, what Epic Central really is about that experience. It's Grand Prairie saying, this is who we are, and pay attention, take notice, because Grand Prairie is doing great things. I mentioned Alluvia. Alluvia has become an international success. We are famous on TikTok. We're not even on TikTok as the city. So what we're doing is working. We have had people from literally all over the country and all over the world fly in to look at this space. There is a sister fountain that is being completed in Branson, probably in the next year and a half. But as of right now, you in Grand Prairie are the only city in the entire United States that has a fountain with projection on it. And like I said, I would encourage you to go out there. We have 2 different shows that are running. We're in the process of putting a 3rd one together. It'll be ready real soon. It is inspiring. It's fun. It'll take your breath away. It'll give you those oohs and those ahs, which is what we're wanting. And this is the picture that I think sums up about what is Epic Central, because you see a whole bunch of people with their phones out videoing, but you also see people without their phones that are just sitting there and observing. And what is it that they are watching? Well, it's this. They're watching the show. They're getting, they're seeing something that they've never seen anywhere else in the United States. Now, we see it every single night, so we get a little accustomed to it. But I promise you, you bring somebody from out of town that's never seen this, their mouth will open and they'll go, wow, this is amazing. And folks, this is all here right in your backyard, right here in District 2. Now, the important parts, the things I always get asked is, when are the rest of the restaurants opening? And Serious Eats, we are expecting an opening in July. Y'all are going to call me a liar because last time I was in front of council, I said it was going to be March, and I thought it was going to be March, and then I thought it was going to be May, but we are on track right now for a July opening. And then Economic Development's going to talk a little bit more about this, but Radici is getting ready to open in October. Extremely excited about this restaurant. Serious Eats is going to change the experience because it's going to be cheap, fast, really good food, burgers, shakes, and pizza that you can grab a walk-up bar. And then Radici, homemade Italian, really done right, really done well. And Chef Tiffany Dieri, we are excited to have her here on property, and we'll bring that up in a little bit. Just a few more things that are going on. And this is a small sample of our calendar. I encourage you to go to epiccentral.com to follow us. But starting on Sunday, we begin installation of Epic Remembrance. This is something that we do in conjunction with Carry the Load and the One Tribe Foundation. We set out 650 American flags that are each have a name of a Gold Star family or a Gold Star service member that was killed in the line of action. We also recognize our fallen PD officers in this as well. It is an amazing, beautiful experience. It's going to be up from the 13th through the day after Memorial Day, so make sure that you are there for that. You're going to hear a little bit more about cricket watch parties, but we are getting ready to go full all in on cricket, so you'll be able to see the games. Some of them are being played here in Grand Prairie. Some of them are being played up in New Jersey, but you'll be able to see it right here. And then Councilmember Headen has been integral in starting up a arts festival last year. We're planning on bringing that back again this year, even bigger and better. We had a great turnout last year. That is going to continue to go on. We have Flowapalooza. We have the Down Syndrome Association. We have literally in the fall an event almost every single weekend. And then December, we have a Christmas spectacular. We're going to be bringing Santa in ways that you've never seen him before on site. So we have a lot of really exciting things coming up. And like I said, make sure that you go to epiccentral.com, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, engage with us. Tell us the things that you want to see, because we value your feedback, and we want all of our citizens of Grand Prairie to feel like that Epic Central is the place for them. I'll be here after the end, but I'm going to bring up Rashad and Kay Brown at this point.
Hello, everybody. My name is Rashad Jackson, Planning and Development Director, as well as Interim Economic Development Director. I've been grateful to have this opportunity and excited to show you guys what the city has been doing and what's new and what's coming as far as economic development. Just to touch on a few, we have Shake Shack, Blue Goose Cantina, Salad to Go, Einstein Brothers, Boot Barn, Pop Shell, Finch. Of course, all of this is near Epic. And speaking of Epic, Zane kind of spoke to this, but 161 has transformed the city. Many of these things that we're seeing today would not have existed without 161, and the city's future on planning ahead and purchasing all this property here and actually designing, being prepared for this explosion of development. We have developers who bought in with that plan as well. Weber and Charlie Anderson are some developers who helped develop Epic East and Epic West, both sides of 161. And we'll touch on some of these locations here. As you see along here, as you see, this is 161 here. All these different restaurants that would not have existed without this access and connection. And then, of course, Epic Central. Moving on, from concept to reality, I kind of just already touched on this. The city had a plan in 2019, brought it to fruition, laid out this plan, and it's a public-private partnership by us purchasing this property and actually facilitating deals to get these businesses in place, and them wanting to be partners, Finch, Vidora, Loop 9, Serious Eats, and then we have the Spectacle Alluvial Water Show, have all been a great plus to the city. And we want to thank the citizens as well for approving a $75 million bond, economic development bond, to help develop this hotel that we're in today, as well as these shell buildings that are around Epic Central. What's coming? Rosa's Cafe. The mayor's waiting on this one. Crumble Cookies, Mountain Mike's is already here. Bass Pro, as y'all see, is being constructed. Again, another sign of we're busting at the seams. Didn't necessarily have to go out and get them. We've been asking for them to come here, but they finally made that choice to locate here. Big Shots is actually turned into Topgolf. Big Shots was attracted as well. Topgolf saw competition and decided to buy Big Shots out. So you'll see Big Shots that are gonna be actually Topgolf down by IKEA, the IKEA area. Dippy Egg is a breakfast concept that's gonna be here in one of our shell buildings. Serious Eats, Zane spoke to that. And Payway has recently opened. Andretti's will open here in another month or two. Sorry. So some of the concepts, this is one of the original concepts. This is the original concept that was sketched out a long time ago. That kind of laid out the plan for this area. Of course, it's all come to fruition. The 2 pad sites that are remaining that are built will be Dippy Egg, a breakfast concept, as well as what Zane talked about earlier, the great Tiffany Derry, a Texas native who has become a world-renowned chef. She has teamed up with her colleague and decided to open up Radici. It's an Italian concept for the area. And so we'll have a multitude of different variety of foods to be eaten here in the Epic area. As I mentioned, the IKEA and Topgolf proposal is going to be right south of IKEA. We have still some remaining pad sites that will be constructed. IKEA also owns the northern portion here, and if you pay attention to the city council's agenda, application for development will be coming through as well. So we're looking forward to more retail development in the area. And as Zane also noted, Cricket is here. Another venture that the city has taken a chance on, invested $20 million in our existing baseball diamond that was underutilized, baseball stadium, excuse me, that was underutilized, and took a chance to bring forth a sport that not too many people knew about, or at least in America. Worldwide, it is a world-renowned sport, and we're kind of late to the table, I guess you could say. But it is a version of what they call T20 cricket. T20 is just one of the 3 versions of professional cricket that is a shortened version. Typical cricket matches last for days. So I don't think anybody wants to go out there for days. So this is going to be T20 lasts for about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. They have multiple partnerships in order to bring this to be. HKS helped with the redesign of the stadium. USA Cricket is the overarching organization. MLC Cricket is the United States smaller version of cricket that is underneath them. Texas Super Kings is our team that actually play at our stadium. And just to give everybody a heads up, the T20 World Cup of Cricket, which is an international tournament, is scheduled to be held here in Grand Prairie this summer. So keep an eye out for that. And with that, I'll bring up our great economic development manager. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Good evening, everyone. As you mentioned, my name is Kay Brown Patrick, and I have the pleasure of serving as the business manager for the Economic Development Department. I am here to share information about our efforts around small business programming. As Councilwoman Headen mentioned, that is one of her passions. And so with the support of council and leadership, we have done an amazing job at creating programs to support our entrepreneurs and our local small businesses. On March 21st, we held our second annual Small Business Expo here at the Convention Center. There was about 215 attendees here, and the purpose of that event was to provide information on how businesses can do business with the city. The National North Texas Regional Certification Agency was here to provide information on how to become a small veteran minority women-owned business. And we had some financial institutions here to provide information on how to fund your business. We also had Amazon here to talk about becoming a supplier to work with Amazon and how to sell your products on Amazon. So we were excited about that. And we had about 20 exhibitors and vendors here in this space for the attendees to walk around and visit with to talk about small business resources. In addition to the expo, we also have this year our small business cohort. Last year, we launched our Entrepreneur U program, which focused on anyone who had a business ideal or a startup, and we had sessions for them monthly. This year, we will focus more on the businesses that are somewhat established, maybe a year or two, and wanting to grow their business and expand, focus more on scaling, cash flow, accounting, brand identity, marketing, business documentation, and insurance and things like that. So that is what our cohort is going to consist of. We're looking to launch that in August of this year with a organization or individual that we choose through a request for qualifications process. We have Ready, Set, Grow, which is where our Entrepreneur U and Franchise U initiative is housed. And we had a survey to our business community and ask them what sessions, what information or resources would you like the city to focus on to provide you in order to assist your business. And based on that survey, we came up with the program sessions for Entrepreneur U. We have the sessions monthly, 2 every month, and they were recorded. So anyone who wants to go back to view those sessions can go back to our website and view those sessions. Franchise U was an initiative that was a think tank, basically, from our business community. One of the roles that I have is going out and bringing businesses into the community. And a lot of times we'll hear from those businesses, well, we would like to come to Grand Prairie, but we need a franchisee. So with that, we decided to come up with a program where we can have and cultivate entrepreneurs here for franchisees to partner them with the franchises. So Franchise U was created. It was a month-long program, and it was our highest attended program actually out of Entrepreneur U. So there's a lot of interest here in Grand Prairie for the entrepreneurs to take a franchise route and possibly bring some franchises here to Grand Prairie through that process. So as I mentioned, we have our city website, our small biz website. You can go back if you're a business owner and you want to view anything around legal concepts, intellectual property, accounting, funding your business, or the Franchise U that I mentioned. You can also go to the website and sign up for our mailing list, and we'll send you information on resources, programmings, and events. If you have a Facebook page, please follow us for any upcoming, coming soon announcements, anything that's taking place in economic development. That's all I have. Library.
Make sure I don't talk too loud. Good evening, everyone. I'm Peter Syme. I'm the library director for your Grand Prairie Public Libraries. I want to thank Councilmember Headen for including us this evening. We're very honored to be with you. Up on the screen, you see our website. Any information I bring up tonight, you can find it there. The first thing I wanted to mention to everybody, I don't have a slide for this up here, is that your city council has approved the purchase of 2 mobile libraries for our system. Now, on a personal basis, this has been a dream of mine and a dream of our system for about 10 years. So this is a very big week for us. These are 2 mobile libraries that will include computers, printers, Wi-Fi access, and a collection, and the ability to do programming. And what having 2 of them does is allows us to cover a lot of ground in our very tall and very narrow city. But most importantly, we get to bring our services to you, which is one of our key goals. You don't have to come to one of the buildings. Hey, trust me, we want to see you, but how about we come to you and bring services to you? It's hard for me to put into words to thank the mayor, Councilmember Headen, and all the members of our city council and our city manager's office for supporting us in doing that. But it was a huge step for our library system. Yeah. We were talking about the Epic, which hopefully all of you have memberships for, or you've been inside. This is an amazing facility. We have a library presence inside the Epic called the Epic Reads. The Epic Reads is a self-contained library system. You can check out books from it. You can use a screen to apply for a library card there, or you can drop off books from any of our locations in the book drop there. A thing that everybody was reminded of yesterday is what? Oh, summer is on its way, right? Just a little brief introduction and reminder. Well, the great thing for us is Summer Reading Club comes with summer. So it may be hot, but things will be even better and more exciting, and they'll be cool inside at your Grand Prairie libraries. Summer Reading Club will run June 1st to August 31st, and we will have a ton of programs. You'll be able to read to get prizes, and I've got some slides to explain some of that. On Saturday, June 1st, from 10 a.m. to noon, we have our summer reading kickoff. This is one of the biggest events we have out of the year. We'll have cosplayers, we'll have a bounce house, we'll have all kinds of activities. Please have everybody come out. I don't have a picture of this, I'm just teasing it, but we have new library cards that we'll be giving out that day with a new design, and our summer program guide will also be given out that day. So please join us on Saturday, June the 1st. Our big programs have moved to Fridays this year. On Fridays, we have performers that go to all 3 of our locations in the same day. You can find this schedule. I won't go into too many of the details here, but each Friday we have a different program that goes to all 3 locations. So you don't feel left out. Whatever library you live closest to, you can go there. And Zane talked about programs at Epic Central. We're very excited about this. This is our Rainbow Glow Dance Party. Okay, if you've never seen glow in the dark bubbles, you got to come see glow in the dark bubbles. You just got to trust me on this. The first time we did it, I thought, is this really going to work? Oh yeah, it really works. You can see the picture there of some of the kids at one of our previous events, but this time we're bringing it out to Epic Central to accommodate a bigger crowd. It'll be a great night. It's Wednesday, June 5th, right after our kickoff. And you can visit our website to see all our other programs. You can sign up for a library card through our website. You can renew your books there. You can do anything, find out anything about the libraries, or call us, or please come by one of our locations. The main library is right up the road at 901 Conover, right off of 161. The Betty Warmack Library is just this way at the corner of Barden and Robinson. We love having y'all come in. The Tony Shotwell Library is in the northeast part of our city. We love having you come out. We're honored to serve everyone. Your libraries are all about learning, literacy, and fun for everyone. And we look forward to seeing everybody this summer. And it's transportation and my buddy Walter.
Good evening. I'm Walter Schumack, Managing Director. If you look on your agenda, Carol DeVries was originally going to present on transportation, but she also is feeling under the weather. But we realized transportation is very important, so we didn't want to miss out on that. First off, I really want to thank Councilmember Hayden for letting us know about the issues that was going on in Deckman. So we were really happy to get out there and put that stop sign in, looking at the issues that we're having out there. Thank you again once on that. Some of the things that are going on within the districts. We just recently completed some repairs on Southwest Third at Pioneer, between Pioneer and Freetown. We also completed some repairs on Woodline Drive between Crossland and Pine Oak. Coming up this summer, we got a lot of things under construction, still got some more stuff coming under construction. Twisted Vine Lane, be ready between Kirby Brook and Morning Meadow. We're gonna be doing some repairs on that. West Crossland Boulevard between Corn Valley and Robinson. Then Racket Club Drive between Corn Valley and Country Club. Those are gonna be concrete repairs. We also have some asphalt streets, Great Southwest Parkway, we call it GSW. We're gonna be doing what's called a mill and overlay. Mill and overlay is not a full reconstruction because the subgrade, what's under it is still in pretty good shape, but the surface of it is not. So what we do is we kind of shave just the top of it off. That's the mill part, and then we overlay it. We come back with some additional asphalt on it. Little bit of a blast from the past. Anybody that's in the area know the Camp Wisdom Road was under construction for quite a while. It is complete. It was a joint project we had with Dallas County. However, we've reached what we call the end of the warranty period, just like anything else. And we went back and saw some additional issues that had to be going on with that. So this summer, our contractor is going to come back and finish some warranty work on that. So you'll be seeing that coming up this summer. Also, as anybody in this area knows, I-20 frontage roads are also complete. However, TxDOT has really seen that TxDOT needs, I-20 needs some additional stuff. So they're going to be having a public meeting coming up very soon. We want you all to know about. What they're really going to be studying is I-20 between Carrier Parkway going towards the west, all the way out to 287. The meeting's they're gonna have two separate meetings. I'm gonna go a little slow on this in case you want to write it down. But the first public meeting is gonna be May 16th. That's gonna be the in-person meeting from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn, Dallas, Arlington. The address is 2190 East Lamar. That's the Hilton Garden Inn, Dallas. The public meeting, May 16th. They're also going to have a virtual one about 10 a.m., but that one's going to be on June 3rd. You can always go to TxDOT's website to get additional information. But anybody who drives on I-20 knows that I-20 needs some help. TxDOT is not ignoring that, nor is your cities, the joint cities, us and Arlington. So we're asking them to look into that. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Transportation is something that never stops. We never get bored. We're always here looking for what's going on. To move forward, we have engineering. Our Director of Engineering, Noreen Houserife, is coming in after me to talk about the utilities and future engineering. Thank you.
Good evening. How are you tonight? I'm Noreen Houserife. I'm the Director of Engineering and Utilities. I'm here to talk about a few projects that are in District 2 that are considered capital projects. This first one is one that is completed. This is one we've talked about a couple times. This is the Deckman Drive throughway. If anyone lived in this neighborhood, you know, everyone was going through the neighborhood to get around. So we're excited to have this roadway completed. Our second one is one under construction. If you live near Cayley Road, there was a slope failure into the country club. So we are able to access the area through the golf course. So if you're a golfer, there might be a hole that you cannot access for the next month or so, but we're trying to fix the erosion and get that all stabilized and restore everything back. So by summertime golf, you guys will be back in business. And then a future project, it's kind of a big one where right now we're just doing preliminary studies. This is a water line that's going to run parallel to a 60-inch water line. This one is key because, you know, majority of our water for the city comes from that line. It is an older structure, so we're running a parallel line for many reasons, for future development, but also If the main line breaks, we have a parallel line to keep water flowing, or if we have to do maintenance on the 60-inch. Right now, we're doing different route studies to see the best way to get through. It's near Camp Wisdom. It goes through core property. There's a lot of things that we have to look into before we finalize the final route of this parallel line. But that is something you'll see probably in the next couple of years as we finalize the alignment and start construction on this. But this is for future growth and make sure that we always have water in the city. And I am available later for questions. There you go. Here comes Chip.
Thank you all. Oh, goodness. Thanks for having me out. My name's Chip Namey. I'm the downtown manager for the city of Grand Prairie. And I want to talk to you guys about some of the development that's coming into downtown. It's a great big initiative. First of all, thank you to our council. The mayor has stepped out, but thank you, Council Member Headen, for having me out, number one. And thank you all for choosing downtown as your number one priority. That's the number one priority for our council in their vision session this last time was downtown redevelopment. So we'll kind of get started with it. And some of this Walter and his team are working on. We've got Turnback, which is basically going to be taking Main Street and narrowing it down to one lane in each direction from approximately Beltline to about Dalworth. That's pretty close anyway, and I'll show you a map in just a second. And Turnback is really us taking back control of Main Street, which is Highway 80 through downtown from TxDOT. It's the city of Grand Prairie taking over operations of that road, taking over maintenance of that road so that we can also take over the development within the core of our downtown area. We're going to divert the heavy truck traffic over to Jefferson. That'll come in the form of a couple of different things. We're going to expand sidewalks. We're going to make it much more pedestrian friendly. The city purchased the Calvary Church property, which is approximately 5 acres of property just to the west of City Hall. That property, we are in the process of negotiating with some developers. Our city manager's office is working with different proposals for the use of that property, and we look to have some development there. I know we talked about apartments a little bit earlier, and I know that can be a little bit of a dirty word around here, but population density is something that's very important when you're trying to economically develop an area. And so the hope is that we would have some form of multifamily close to downtown so that we get that population density that will support the economic growth of the area. So what I've got here is a map showing kind of the locations of those roundabouts. Let's see. On the right-hand side, that's going to be the east, so you'll see Beltline running north to south there. And then out here on the west, that's where Dalworth comes in, just past where the fire station 1 is. Some examples of the street designs that we could be looking at, again, more pedestrian friendly, opportunities for restaurants to have cafe style dining out in front, shops to have, storefronts where people can walk from block to block. The core of downtown basically will start about where fire station 1 is on the west, and the initial focus will be down to where the uptown is at basically northeast 4th Street, with the hope that we continue to expand that further to the east down to where the second roundabout is just short of Beltline. Also, an urban park element is probably going to be part of this development. In front of City Hall, we've got the open grass area that's on the west side of City Hall where the fountain has traditionally been. That fountain has been filled in. It was going to come at there was going to be quite a bit to repair that fountain, so we've landscaped that for now. But we've got some future development plans for that area that the council will be considering in the coming months. And then again, the multifamily examples, what this would be something that would fit within the neighborhood. This would be something that would bring families and couples and singles down to downtown where they could walk to the restaurants, walk to the shops. We want that community. We want that feel. We want to bring back the neighborhood feel for downtown. And aside from that, I'll be around for questions afterwards. And I think I'm it. Councilmember Headen, I think you're back up. So thank you.
Thank you, Chip. I wanted to invite Chip up because sometimes we get in our our District 2 bubble, and there's a lot of exciting things going on downtown. One of the things I learned recently is about how many small business owners we have in our community operating from their homes. Candle makers, cookie makers, kombucha makers, if you drink that prebiotic drink. People are operating these businesses in their home, and our hope is to get them to come out of their homes, get a brick and mortar lease if they can't buy a property, and we want to support that. I'm working with our city manager now to try to come up with some initiatives to help support these business owners who maybe are feeling like they're nervous about the financial burden of getting a lease on a brick and mortar, because we need that. We've got IKEA, we've got Burlington, Home Goods. I love Home Goods. These big businesses are great. But when it comes to, the walking, the walk up and the small storefronts, like what Chip is envisioning for downtown, that's really more of your local small business owners, taking up these small storefronts. So for those on the line on Zoom as well as in the room, if you have a goods or service and you're looking to move from out of your home to a brick and mortar, please reach out. There may be opportunities or locations available. Our economic development department, and I know Kay, she keeps up with different spots that they're trying to fill. And then with what's happening downtown, there'll be a lot of opportunity for those small business owners. I mean, that's the whole point with the take back, making Main Street down from 4 lanes to 2, to expand our sidewalks and make it so that we can walk and shop and eat, which we really haven't had that kind of walkability centered around retail. So that's a new thing that we really need our small business owners to partner with us in. Come out of your homes and consider a brick and mortar location. At this time, we're going to have general Q&A. I know there are some questions out there. I want to invite the Zoom participants to type in the questions. And will they come up to this microphone? Okay, so at this time, if you would like to come up to the microphone to ask your question, and the staff related to that department will be sure to answer you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Carla Carlson. There's actually a lot of you I'd like to talk to, but I want to start with Epic. It's great that you guys are doing so many fun things here, but there is not enough parking. We came for an event in February, drove around for over half an hour and could not find a parking space. Finally had to stalk someone to their car and wait for them to leave. Did not come down here for the eclipse. Knew there'd be nowhere to park. Are there plans to try to accommodate parking here? I mean, it's bad.
So this is something that unfortunately we hear every single day, is that we need more parking. I meet with Cheryl and Bill on a weekly basis, and we talk about this. The simple answer is that there is always parking behind the Epic and behind the Epic Waters. Now that is a little bit of a walk, so that may not be the solution for everybody, but in all the events that we've done, save one, we've never fully filled up Epic Waters and Epic. So my advice to you as citizens is that if you're coming on site and you see that the boards are filled and that it is filled, that you go over and park behind the Epic and Epic Waters. The long answer is that absolutely we are discussing what those parking challenges or what those parking solutions are going to be. We've looked at what it costs to add another level to that garage. It is prohibitively expensive at this point, but that is something that is at the top of our mind because we also have the 2 other restaurants that are opening. And so we know that the space is going to continue to grow. It's not really a good answer, but whenever you do something really, really well and something is really popular, you're going to have the parking challenges, and the appetite that the city of Grand Prairie has for this space has been exponentially higher than I think anyone even imagined or anticipated. So I hear your pain. We are absolutely working on it. I don't have a easily ready-made solution, but part of the other developments and part of the other things, we are addressing those parking concerns.
You can start making your way this way as well if you have a question.
Regarding trash, I don't have a beef with the collection at all, but the new policies regarding the household hazardous waste and even taking your stuff to the dump is a little prohibitive. The whole point of household hazardous waste collection is to keep people from throwing hazardous waste in the trash. If you're making it harder for them to bring it to you, they're going to throw it in the trash. So the once a year restriction is a little bit prohibitive. Nobody wants to sit on their aerosol cans and the like for a year at a time. So I urge you guys to rethink that, especially being that it was stated right on the policy that no matter how many people, how much debris is brought to each collection, you pay the same. So unless you're selling out for every single one of these collections, I encourage you to let people come every 3 months. If your point is to get them to bring hazardous material to the event, regarding the 5 times a year at the landfill, doesn't really make sense either. If I'm willing to bring my own stuff up on a Saturday rather than making Republic pick it up curbside, why am I being punished for that? I don't come, every couple of months maybe, but nobody should be discouraged from doing the right thing. Animal services, I'll have something for you on that as well. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Cindy Mendez. I'm the Public Health and Environmental Quality Director. Unfortunately, the price of disposing of household hazardous waste went through the roof. It tripled per household. And what we found was that a lot of households every month would bring 1 5-gallon can of paint. And of course, there was others who had a whole trunk full. But we had to do something to curb the costs of disposal, and that's why we did once per year per household, so we could still make it available to everybody. You know, we were paying the same cost for, I don't know, like 15 years, and then that cost just rose incredibly high. So that's kind of where we are right now, and we haven't really had a lot of response to our new policy yet. But if there is absolutely, if someone has a need, they have a lot of waste that they need to dispose of with us, then we can always make exceptions. So I just urge you to call our office and be happy to help you with that. Well, right. Right. So aside from coming to a city event that we have up at City Hall, residents can also go to the Environmental Collection Center in Fort Worth that we're contracted with. And they're open every Thursday through Sunday. So that's another solution too for our residents. Patricia?
Hi, thank you. Patricia Redfern, Solid Waste and Recycling Director. So I'll address the issue of 5 trips to the landfill. We have evaluated several years' worth of data looking at really the issue of contractors, local contractors coming to the landfill, bringing tons and tons of materials as if it were coming from their house. And that really, that kind of changes the economics of everything. So trying to keep that so that residents can use it as much as, when we evaluated it, most of the time they come fewer than 5 times per year, and they bring fewer than 5 tons per year. So we drew that line at that point. In fact, trying to be more than fair, just to go ahead and keep the rate right. So that was the reasoning behind that. It's not meant to be prohibitive. It's just meant to be keeping Group A and Group B paying the correct rate, the contractor rate.
And Patricia, can you elaborate? So you can technically come more than 5 times. It's just that you pay, but it's very, very low rate. Can you share the rate?
The rate is $10, so it's a 10. Mhm. Landfill. Mm. Right. Mhm. Oh, no, I feel the same way. If it were, yeah, if it were something gamey, I'm going to take it. Right. No, and thank you. Okay.
Just a reminder, we do have an online audience, so if you have a question, I can bring the mic to you as well. Thank you.
And we do have a large trash collection. Each neighborhood is zoned. If you go to our website, you can search large trash collection, and you put in your address and it'll tell you what week it's coming to your neighborhood. So I actually had gone to the landfill several times. I don't know why. I enjoy the thrill of putting myself on the back of the truck and dumping it when I'm doing the big clean out. But sometimes it is easier to just put it on the curb, if you can catch it at the right time. It's only once a month. It's only once a month. You don't want to let it sit a whole month, but you kind of should keep an eye out on that schedule, put your address in, and then place those items when it's your turn. Any other questions? Oh, Harold?
Hi, Harold Willis, 538 Lindley. My issue is with Spectrum. The issue back in November with that live electrical line down there on Newberry by the Blue Park. It took Spectrum several months and they just half-assed did it. They only replaced one thing. 2 weeks ago, Thursday night, those green boxes were open. All those batteries, those cables, completely open. I did call 911, asked us for Spectrum. I got a follow-up call on Saturday from Spectrum. Problem at your house? No, it's down at the Blue Park. All of that equipment is open. There's no locks on it. There's no ID. There's no markings. Completely just everything. Those big old 12-volt batteries in there with cables, wires sticking out everywhere. As we speak tonight, not locked up. Right down here across from that Trinity Basin Academy, across the street, I forget the name of it, there's an orange line coming out of one of those boxes. It's been like that since November. I wish the mayor was here because right by the mayor's house down there on Barton and Matthew, one of those green boxes from Spectrum, it's been open now since January. You can see the cables, the batteries, everything. 20 years ago, we had regulatory oversight by the Public Utilities Commission. Nothing now. We're at the mercy of Spectrum. They're like Boeing. They don't care. And I appreciate the city staff. I know the staff is there's just so much that they can do, but we need to have someone from Spectrum that is at a meeting like this. Who are you? What updates are you going to do when you have orange cables, orange lines everywhere? This has gone on now for years, and there's no accountability to Spectrum. And even AT&T putting in the new fiber lines, when they put in a residence, they tape them down with orange tape and they stay there for weeks like that before they eventually come out. Some of them out there aren't even buried. But the issue with Spectrum, we're going to have a direct contact to Spectrum that we can call up on that phone and do a little Lyndon Johnson work with them.
Thank you, Harold. I'm actually really glad you brought that to our attention. That is a safety issue. And you shared the really terrible story about live wires back in the day. It was a child died. So we do take that seriously. I did follow up with staff after you contacted me about that. And I was told that we are getting contact phone numbers on those boxes. If someone can update us on where we're at with these boxes being labeled, so when stuff happens, we have someone to reach out to.
Yeah, we do have that, Harold. But Harold, if when we finish up with Q&A, if you'll just spare a few minutes so I get the actual locations of that so we can follow back up with Spectrum. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Also, Cheryl, can we, I'm on the Public Safety Committee as well. I forgot to mention that. maybe we can get Spectrum out because this has come up multiple times. So the Public Safety Committee meetings are listed on the Grand Prairie website that is open to the public, as well as the Economic Development Committee that I'm on. So we would be glad to have them out. And Harold, feel free to come out on that day.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yvette Warren, and it's just so wonderful to see and enjoy everything that's here already and what we can look forward to. And I just like to take this opportunity to talk about Kirby Creek. Kirby Creek runs behind my house, and I have prepared pictures of the way Kirby Creek and the golf course floods during maybe not even heavy rain, but consistent and heavy rain. And I mentioned this because Noreen did mention about the constructions that's going on a Fish Creek for a retaining wall for the same creek. And those homes are newer homes than mine. And I just would like to know if there are some other ideas, some other solutions for homes like mine that are being damaged by the erosion of the soil due to Kirby Creek and the golf course flooding. And I've been in my home since 2000. So I've watched the creek when it was a small 10-foot feature of my home. And now it's a travesty. It's ever growing. It's maybe, I don't know, 30 feet wide now, and the banks are corroded. And I've spoken with Noreen, a housewright, about it. She's been to my home. And the only solution seems to be Resolution 4838, 2016. That means that if the bank of the creek is 3 feet from my back door, which it was for my neighbor, and then my house can be bought by the city, and like my neighbor's home, get demolished. So where my neighbor's home used to be is a vacant lot. And I have to say that my family, we maintain that vacant lot. The city has never come out to mow it. So we keep it nice, and it's green now and manicured, but that's not it. The lot belongs to the city of Grand Prairie, but we take care of it. And my neighbor, Victor, his home used to be there. I'm right next to him. And I have a picture where the bank is right at where his back door used to be, his yard. He had a deck, and the soil gave way, the deck collapsed, and you open his back door, you step out, and you'll step down 10 feet. So my house is next, right next to him, and eventually the creek and the erosion is going to do the same thing. And I didn't want that for me. I don't want that for me, not now and not years from now. I wanted to keep my house. I want to give it to my children. And so, if there's anything else other than Resolution 4838, 2016, if you have any other ideas, opportunities, if there's something can be developed, I would love to hear it. But I don't really, I understand fully about the resolution, and that's not, I don't want to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear that, that what happened to my neighbor is got to happen to me. That's the only thing. I don't want to hear. I'd like to do something new, and I'd like, hopefully.
I can, do you want me to just look and give it back, or we can keep it? Okay, thank you. Yes, that is very concerning. Noreen, is there some new positive update we can share? I know that there are some communities with the erosion issue and some other PIDs that are being worked on. Just an update for her. Oh, you have your own microphone.
So currently we have two resolutions. One is how we keep our streams natural, because streams naturally, erode and move through time. So that is to keep our streams natural. The second resolution, which you referred to, was if the stream erodes to a point that's 3 feet from the foundation of the house, we will buy the house, tear it down, and keep it as open space.
There's no way to
The only
correct
time
those banks?
we do like a retaining wall or something to protect it is if it is going to jeopardize city infrastructure, a water line, a wastewater line, a street, something that is a city infrastructure, we will do something to stop the erosion. Otherwise, we keep our streams natural. Those are for builds. New builds, we have a thing we call erosion hazard setback. So houses are no longer able to be built that close to a creek for that reason, because a creek will naturally just move through time.
Okay, so we have corrected that, but for new
For the ones,
homes,
yes,
that
that are
applies
on
to.
the top of a creek bed and natural movement is stream water. That's where we are right now.
Okay, the second issue is about them personally maintaining that now city-owned lot. Should the
That
city
should be
be?
maintained by the city,
Okay.
so I will look into that.
Okay,
39 Silver Meadow Lane.
okay. Well, at the very least, you all should not be having to go mow the lawn in an adjacent property.
Correct.
How soon can we get that going? Tomorrow, okay. Any other questions?
My name is Chris Hughes, and my comment is for the Parks Department and their master plan. I was just hoping that they could maybe keep nature as a part of their natural of their master plan. And I'm referring to Central Park over here around the ponds. It's always mowed. I was hoping that maybe you could consider just kind of letting and restoring the prairie. Just because, we look up on the screen up here and we see Grand Prairie and there's a native grass up there. I think it would be a great teaching tool for people to understand what a prairie actually looks like. And then I also think it would fit in great. You have your Monarch Festival in the fall. And it would be a great teaching tool for people to understand what monarchs need in their migration.
Thank you. Ray, oh, there you are. Will we be inviting the public out on that? Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your comments. And we will be having the Parks Master Plan. And so when you're in their neighborhood, please come out and give your input on that. But we'll be addressing that in the Parks Master. There will be multiple meetings throughout the entire city. It'll probably be in everybody's district.
And Cindy, are we doing anything on Prairie related education? I know that you host your department several educational events, but is Prairie education one of them?
Well, we do discuss, an Earth Day and other environmental education events, the importance of pollinators and xeriscaping and natural landscaping. And it is one of the city's top priorities is to preserve open spaces and such. So be happy to talk to you about some of your ideas for education on this important issue.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cooper.
So I got to sit down because what I got to tell, I'm glad I'm amongst a lot of the leaders here in authority, people with authority. So I chose to meet with you all today so I could take the fastest route to resolution. My name is Jesse Michael Cooper. That's what my mother named me. I spent 27 years in the Army, 20 years. It was a combination of Army Reserves, active duty, and I spent 20 years in information systems throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I learned about integrity and resilience and all that stuff while I was in the military. And so I've been able to deal with the situation I'm faced with. But what I want to ask you, Ms. Headen, is that correct?
Headen, yes.
Are you familiar with my situation with the Grand Prairie Police Department?
No, sir.
Okay, so I watch, now I teach my sons, all police officers are not bad. Every organization got bad and evil people. So it's the responsibility of that organization, including the military. When you find those bad apples, you get rid of them. But when those bad apples come against people and defile them, when those police officers do stuff to citizens that are unjust, you fire them and you counsel them and you discipline them. So what happened to me, ma'am, I watched the police department, certain officers with the Grand Prairie Police Department over a 3-year span, support a few of my neighbors in discriminating against me. I've contacted, now I live every day with the fear that somebody's gonna kill me because I've contacted the FBI and informed them of what the Grand Prairie Police Department has done. I've contacted the Texas State Attorney General and informed them also, and I'm gonna file a civil rights discrimination lawsuit. I have tried to talk to the chief of police when I saw, see, sometimes people don't realize, I tell my sons, I said, if you follow God when you're 21, as opposed to 61, don't it make sense that you have a better connection with God? But God don't matter when you start, but it would make sense that you have a better connection if you start when you're young. So I watched them, a few of these bad police officers conspire with a couple of my neighbors. One of my neighbors live at 3403 Jasper Drive, and the other one live at 3411. One on my right, one on my left. I watched them for over a 3-year span conspire with these neighbors against me. I let them intentionally distort 2 fines. They fined me twice for $250. I say, where are these clowns coming from with this, right? I said, how can an organization that's supposed to support peace and justice for people, how are they supporting? So I watched 2 officers go under my neighbor driveway one day, and they had 3 other neighbors come over there, and they write up a ticket for me playing loud music that I probably played 2 weeks ago, prior, not the same day, $250. I said, you know what, I'm gonna pay it. At first I was gonna fight it, go to court and fight. I said, no, I'm gonna pay it. Let me see where these clowns going. See, that's what we call in the military, police officers and soldiers that don't follow the rules, the policies and procedures, we call them clowns. So I said, let me see where these clowns going. So they fined me $250. And now every time I will call the police department out to support me or help me, they flip it on me. So I called them out for my neighbor cursing me out and being disrespectful. I say, what is, you got these people that are envy of you, God bless you, you do your work because God say labor with thy hands. So you do that, right? You retire, you earn your living, but you got these clowns, they jealous, they envy, they don't like seeing you at home, watching them come home and leave. But that's okay. Those neighbors okay. But the problem is the police. When you have the police support, now this clown on my right, he supposedly is this Marine tough guy. I don't care how many people he might have killed in Iraq or Afghanistan. It don't matter to me. He done told me he got buddies on the police department. So the police will come out and they one day, see, the only recourse I've learned now, don't get me wrong, I'm not no saint. I've sinned and I might sin again. But the only recourse a good person has against a person that's evil, that I'm talking about, when I say a person is evil, that's when they do stuff, SHIT stuff, every day. This clown on the right of me do stuff every day. I've told the police department, I say, y'all should start finding this clown. I've been telling them for over 2 years, and he'll stop. They never, right? So they supporting him. See, the problem is I'm Black. And I done told the police department, I said, if I was a white man, you all wouldn't let these people do on the side of me do what they do. So I gotta live all my life, every day of my life, thinking that somebody gonna kill me. And I done spent 27 years in the military, right? So they kept supporting. So one day, somebody, I guess, I don't know who these bad actors, and that's not my job to find out who the bad actors are in the police department. But the investigators, if you investigated enough, you can find out. And you see, you got these police officers too. They're hanging out at QT. They're messing with these little young females, planting them in people's houses, doing. There's a lot of bad stuff going on that needs to be cleaned up in the police department. You take, now I'm gonna give you an instance. Officer Dixon, black. They used Officer Dixon, they used him like, I guess they little fall guy. One time, Officer Dixon supposed to have given this person I'm having a problem with a criminal trespassing warning. He failed to do that because one of his supervisors told him not to. Then I called him out because the guy was walking all in my property that lives at 3403 Jasper, Jimmy Polito, walking all in my property. So the police, what they'll do, they'll take their time. Now I called them, I'm looking at the time. They'll wait. They waited one time, he was building a fence. The city approved him to build an 8-foot fence. Nobody in our HOA have that. The city built he let him, approved him to build an 8-foot fence. I told them clowns, I said, how could permits approve that when they should be linked into the police department database, and they say, oh wait, hold on, we got a problem with these neighbors. Let's take a look at what kind of fence he's trying to build. They approved it. So he walking all in my yard. So I called the police. They waited almost an hour and a half before they came out to the house. So when they did come, right? See, the only recourse a person, see, I'm kind of good. The only recourse you have against evil people is to curse their ASS out. Just curse them out. But you see, they got this law in place. It's called disorderly conduct. So I called Officer Dixon, and Officer New out to my house because this clown walking in my yard, right? Don't you know Officer New or either some supervisor told Officer Dixon to write me a ticket for disorderly conduct, $520. I said, yeah, they did. You see, Coach, you know, Mr. Jones made a comment the other day. Mr. Jerry Jones, I was looking at him on YouTube. He said, and I realized this, see, some of these cities like to extort money from retired people. They need to nip that in the butt. Just like Mr. Jones said, they go where the money at. Bank robbers go where the money at, it's in the bank. So that's what some of these cities do. They like to hem some of us retired people take our money. How are you going to give a man a ticket for disorderly conduct when he called you out for something that's valid? Don't even make sense. So this is what they did August 1st. I'm finna get to the meat of it because I know y'all want to go to dinner. On August 1st, this the plot that the Grand Prairie Police Department hatched. Now listen to this. My son, see, she talking about land. When you put handcuffs on how many of y'all got children? Raise your hand. How many of you got children? When you put handcuffs on a child, I don't care what nobody say, you done arrested them. I don't care if you didn't do no papers or put them in jail. My son went to school every day. Jesse Marquis Cooper, he went to school every day. Very obedient. Read the Bible, right? So this is what the police did. They waiting at my house, excuse me. They waiting at my house. They're waiting at my house, right? Now I want you to vision this. They're waiting at the front door. At my front door, there's a glass door, and then you have to open that to go through the wood door. So my son pulls up in the driveway. You know how you got your 2-car garage driveway. Now vision this. So now they waiting for my son. My son pulls up in the driveway. They immediately jammed him up at the door and handcuffed him. Now I had a problem with this other neighbor prior to this a week earlier in July with some dogs. But I don't know how connected it is. So they handcuffed my son, take him to my neighbor's yard and set him in his yard. Now note what I just said. My son raised up the garage. They waiting. He raised up the garage. They handcuffed him immediately. Now think about if my son would have resisted and they would have beat him up. What I would have did. Would I have been, oh, don't worry about it, Jesse. See, they also, you have some of these clowns try to turn you into criminals. Hold on, brother. Don't touch me, bro. Don't No, 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 don't touch me. Don't get close. Let me finish saying.
Are there Zoom questions?
One.
Okay.
Okay, so over Zoom, we have a question from Michelle Franklin. She asked, IKEA land development has been tabled since last fall. Are the plans to still have a membership warehouse with pumps come in? Still very concerned with the Robinson Road being an entryway into this area. Also, still watching and still opposed to hotel development also in this area. And finally, and could we encourage the developer to keep some of the green space to enjoy with perhaps a small park?
Well, first, thank you for your question. The application was tabled several times because council actually asked them to go back to the table to revise their plans to remove the hotel and remove multifamily. Over the last few months, they've had several iterations of the plan, working with city management, working with economic development team, and IKEA. They have resubmitted here recently within actually, I think the last week. So that's going through the plan review process. So going through our plan review process, things may change before it gets to city council. So I'm reluctant to say whether or not certain things are going to be not on the plan yet, but council still has the opportunity to make those requests. So the landscaping, the gas pumps, everything that has been noted can be noted at the council meeting, as well as P&Z. There are two anchor, from what I remember, two anchor retail locations on the concept plan, as well as an entertainment component. So I know that much, but please feel free to reach out to planning and development team if you'd like more information, as well as pay attention to P&Z and council future meetings in the next month.
Thank you, Rashad. And I have personally met with the developer over there. And as Rashad stated, I made clear we did not want the hotel or multifamily. He came back and said that it's been difficult to get the type of users in that we want. A lot of people don't realize when we have a vision for something, someone said, we really want a Papados or a fill in the blank. And you think, well, why isn't it built yet? But we have to try to convince these corporations that they want to be here. They're looking at a lot of metrics. They're looking at how many rooftops, the mean salaries in that community, a lot of things. There's a reason why maybe we don't have Neiman Marcus across the street. According to their corporations, we don't really fit what they're looking for. So it does take a lot of gymnastics, especially with us being a long, narrow city, when they draw those radius circles to see, the salaries, the rooftops, it doesn't always look favorable. So our economic development team and myself, whenever possible, we do try to convince these people, we will eat at these restaurants, we will shop at your stores, please come. The community wants it, but it's not so simple. So we did voice what we didn't want over there, which kind of lines up with that question you asked, Michelle, but they couldn't find someone else just yet to fill those spots. So stay tuned. I so appreciate you all's time this evening. Please do email me if you have any thoughts, concerns, or ideas. I always say I'm looking for ideas as well. We're on the cusp of doing some really new things. There's still room for fresh ideas. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Good night, everyone. Thank you.